Hello, welcome to another episode of Workplace Wizards podcast, and this one's entitled "Getting to Know You." I'm your host Arnold Smalley, also known as Arnell,
And I'm Sandy Smiley.
and we are Small World Solutions, and we sponsor the Workplace Wizards podcast because we want to help organizations improve their workplace environment. We want you to know that nothing changes if nothing changes. So today we're going to talk about getting to know you, Sandy. Give us some insight on this.
I like this topic because we're living in a world that is getting more and more divisive. So I like to think of how can we get along better? How can we get to know each other better? Which will eventually, I think, turn the tide and help the world to be a better place to live in.
Okay.
So, what do you think about when you say getting to know each other?
Well, what I always think about is I like one of the things that we had talked about before was it's cultural humility.
Mm.
And just because you get to know someone, it's not about the facts about them. Like I know Sandy's from this country. I know Sandy does this or that. If you know the facts, but if you don't know where they're coming from, and that's the cultural humility, is just knowing that, hey, you don't have to know everything about an individual. I don't have to know everything about your country. I don't have to know everything about, but you're willing to learn, or you're willing to accept that there are just different ways of viewing the world.
I think that's very key, being open and willing to learn. If we just kind of double click on that, as we meet people, if we have that openness, that's a big start for
Right.
getting to know somebody. And it's reminding me of a book by David Brooks called How to Know a Person. And that really struck me when I read that, because he says it's beyond just asking somebody, where are you from? He has a list of just conversation starters that are a little deeper. Like, what's an experience that is, I'll try it on our now so you get an example.
Oh, I'm a guinea pig.
What is, just share an experience that really helped to shape your life?
Share an experience that helped to shape my life. I would say that I grew up in Heath, Ohio. Some of you guys, if you've seen some of my previous podcasts, I grew up in Heath, Ohio, and there wasn't very many of people of my color there. So there was only a few of us. So that experience shaped my life because I went on to college and it was the same scenario. It was very, very minimal. Uh, and I don't think that it hurt me. I think it actually helped me just dealing with, you know, different cultures, different. And then when I moved to Miami, that was another culture shock, because now I'm dealing with. I mean, I made the mistake one of my first week here of calling a Jamaican a Haitian, and it was they set me straight, and I go, well, isn't he from Haiti or and no, he's from Jamaica, and I said, wait a minute, so now I had to pull back a little bit and learn that, hey, we didn't have that issues in Muskingum College or Heath, Ohio, but in Miami, Florida, we have those different cultures.
So, audience, I think you realize if I had just asked Arnell, where are you from? I would have heard just Heath, Ohio. But when I asked him what experiences really shaped your life, I learned about Heath, Ohio, but I learned a whole lot more. So, as we really get intentional about getting to know each other across so many different lines, this is one way that can really help. But his example also helped him to be open, to be sensitive about, and having my background be from Barbados, we don't want to be mixed up with people from other countries because Barbados is distinct, Jamaica is distinct, the Bahamas are distinct. And so we want to be recognized for where we actually came from and be respected that way. And that example really showed your vulnerability, and you're vulnerable in sharing it to us, but also about, hey, I need to be more sensitive about this.
That's funny that you say that because That is so true. And the funny thing is, after I was chastised and basically put in my place for saying that, the funny thing is, I asked my brother to come down and visit, and he flies down to visit with me. And we're at the beach, and he goes, "Man, there's a lot of Mexicans here." I was like, "Whoa, Aaron! There's Venezuelan, there's Cuba, there's Dominican Republic, there's this." I go, "They're not all Mexicans," and he's like, "Oh," and so that was the insight to me, like, hey, that's what I've learned, that they're not just all one race, and putting people.
That's being culturally humble.
Yeah.
Humble. You learned it, and then you saw your brother
Right.
needed to learn it. And so, who listening here also needs to be more sensitive that way, or you are already sensitive that way, and you can help somebody else. Why don't we do one other question?
Go ahead, do
All
another
right.
question.
So David Brooks has a whole list, as I said. It's a great book to get, how to get to know a person, how to know a person. Who has had an influence on your life and why?
Oh man, I think the biggest influences that a person's had on my life were two of my coaches that I had in high school, Coach Klontz and Coach Harden. And the reason being is they push the right buttons,
Mm-hmm.
and they just helped me to excel. And I was a pretty good athlete in school, and so I kind of had an ease with when it comes to athletics, but they didn't let it sit there. They pushed me. Coach Harden would drive his truck on my heels, running up a hill and honking his horn, blasting his horn to make me run faster. I mean, yeah, he'd probably be arrested for doing that kind of things today, but those are the things that said, hey, you can do better than where you're at. You can improve. And these are some of the things that you need to do to get there. And they wouldn't let me settle for just being good. They wanted me to be better or to try to be great.
That's powerful. Every single one of us has one person or more that has really influenced us. And I could have said, did you play sports in high school? Did you play sports in college? And I would have gotten a yes or no. But when I asked who's influenced you, then we understand so much more about the person. So I challenge you to find those questions on your own. Think a little bit deeper when you're in a new set around a new set of people, opportunities at work to get outside of your close network. This will help you grow as a person, and it will also help you understand about cultural humility. You got a thought there?
Well, no, I'm saying thanks, Sandy, because generally that's what we typically do. Is we start with the generic questions. So what are some other questions that we don't have to discuss them right now, but what are some other questions in that book that could possibly help us, to get a little bit deeper, to go, like you said, to try to get more out of an individual, what inspired them, what motivated them, what are the way that they see the world.
And certainly you can think of some on your own, but I'll share a few more from David Brooks' book. What brings you a sense of purpose? When do you feel most like yourself? What is something you've changed your mind about over the past few years? I'll repeat them in case you're taking notes. What brings you a sense of purpose? When do you feel most like yourself? And what is something you've changed your mind about over the past few years? Because that's an indication of growth. So there's so many ways. These are good questions to just have self-reflection too. But as we really want to get to know other people, bringing down the walls of our differences, these are the types of questions that can make a difference.
Right. So like you stated earlier in the book, he was trying to see how a person experiences the world, and not just the
what they do.
Oh yeah.
Our favorite question. What do you do?
That's so profound right there. So everybody take note and find out, when you're getting to know a person, get to know them. And Sandy gave us some great examples of questions to possibly ask to learn a little bit more about an individual, more so than where you're from. Heath, Ohio. And that's the end of that conversation.
We challenge you to do that with one or two people as you go into your new week, so you can practice the skill of really getting to know someone.
And we're going to talk more about how we get to know people in our own workplace environment. And then make sure you follow us on Small World Solutions on LinkedIn and on Facebook, because we're going to be posting stuff and showing some different ways that people get to know each other. And one of the big things is we're going to have events that are circulating around emotional intelligence and your human behavior styles. So if you haven't seen some of our previous podcasts, stick around, because we're going to dive into those personality styles. And that's how you can also really, really, really get to know your coworkers.
How can they contact you?
Hey, if you want to contact us, you can direct message me, DM me on LinkedIn or Facebook under Small World Solutions, or you can contact us on our website, which is smallworldsolutions.net, N-E-T. And then if you just want to send me a text message, go ahead, send me a text at 754-971-7007. I'll say that one more time. That's 754-971-7007.
And please remember, Arnell's available for workshops. We're in schools, churches, all types of organizations. We love chambers of commerce because there's such a broad community of diverse people at those. So just we're open to helping you in the way that you need help. So thank you for joining today.
Like I said, we're helping organizations improve workplace environments. So make sure you join us for our next episode. And for now, we'll say goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for joining.